Welcome back to the another session. This video is specially made to introduce a computer system, how it will be. So generally we are uh, exercising with many sort of works with the computer. So here I wanted to brief the computer. So the computer is it's an electronic device which accept input, process it and gives the output to the user. So, by the definition, it is an electronic device which can understand only on and off, doesn't understand anything else. Okay, but we will be giving input that will be processed and it will give some output. So we have to know how input will be given, how process will be done, from where we can see the output. So these 3 points I'll address in this video. Now let's see parts of computer. We do have input device, output device, CPU and storage units. The best part of computer is most of the users will think that computer is for calculation purpose or computation purpose. The best advantage of computer is to store the data. Calculators, scientific calculators can also compute to some extent, but we don't have any storage facility in that, especially devices. Whereas computer can do all the functionalities what calculators can do. Apart from that, it can provide the storage facility. We can store our data and we can retrieve the data back when you want. So that is what the best part of computer. Now let's see how input can be given, how output can be seen, how data will be get processed. Now let's look into the input devices. What do you mean by this input device? These are the devices through which input is given to the computer. Let us take that I have purchased a computer today. So if I wanted to give any input, I cannot speak to the computer by saying some words because it is not a human to understand. It is an electronic machine where I have to pass the input. So input can be always given through keyboard or a mouse. So through keyboard I can enter some data. Through a mouse I can click on something. If I wanted to select a Google Chrome to access, I have to use mouse to select the Google Chrome. So input always will be given through keyboard and through mouse. So scanner is also a input device. So these are what input devices from where we can give input to the computer. Let's come to output device. And output devices are through what we can see or through which output is given by the computer. So obviously outputs always are visible through the monitors and printers, speakers. Right? These are regular or fundamental input devices and output devices. Fundamental input devices are keyboard, mouse. Fundamental output devices, monitor, printer, speaker. Right. So the justification of definition is computer should accept the input. So through the input device, computer can show the output through the output device. Now the best part is process it. How our input can be processed. This part we have to understand. Let's see. There is a separate unit. There is a separate unit which is called as CPU. There is a separate device which is called as CPU. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. The name itself it tells this is the unit which is responsible to process the data. To process the data. There are three parts inside of the CPU which makes our task to complete, which are ALU, control unit, memory unit. ALU stands for arithmetic and logical unit. ALU stands for arithmetic and logical unit. Control unit and memory unit. So ALU is responsible for all type of computations, arithmetical computations and logical computations. So I'll make a couple of videos later where we'll get good clarity what a computer will do, like what type of operations can it do. That part we'll see. But as of now, you have to understand ALU is for arithmetic and logical computations. Right, now control unit. So there should be a device which control all the operations of computer. Let's take some example. So if water is flowing, whenever we feel that it is enough, that we have to off the tap, right? So whenever we want, we should on the tap. So there should be a control button to control the process of data, to control the flow of data. So in the same way, control unit will control all sort of computer operations. Whenever we want, we will be telling that, we will be instructed by this control unit to operate. Whenever we want to stop it, control unit will be telling us to stop the operations. So majorly, control unit is responsible to control the operations of computer. Now, memory unit. What is memory unit? The name itself it tells that it is responsible to store the data. So the data may be stored for long time, that is for permanently, or the data can be stored temporarily. So we do have devices, we do have two types of memories, which are primary memory and secondary memory. Okay, primary memory and secondary memory. So secondary memory will store the data permanent. Primary memory will store the data temporarily. So here also we do have two other devices, RAM, ROM. RAM stands for random access memory. Random access memory. ROM stands for read only memory. The name itself it tells this is the memory where we can only read. Okay, where we cannot write anything. It is only read only memory. So random access memory is we will only accessing the data randomly for reading and for writing purpose. Anyhow, so RAM and ROM will store the data, and the other things are RAM is a volatile memory and ROM is non-volatile memory. We cannot modify the data which is available in the ROM. We can modify the data which is available in the RAM. Because RAM is volatile memory, you can modify the data. ROM is non-volatile memory, you cannot modify the data. So that is the difference in between these two. And secondary memory. Secondary memory is the memory where the data will store for permanently. Example, hard disk, CD, DVD. Data will be available in this until we delete. Now look at this. Input device, CPU, output device. So all above are collective as hardware. What is the major parts of computer system is hardware and software. So computer system will have majorly two components, hardware and software. So let's look in detail in the next video what is hardware and what is software. Thank you all.